Wait. Before you say that I am making this build video because there's a global event going on and I want to take advantage of that, you're wrong. My build already does more than 30 million per shot. Actually, 32 million to be honest, which is a rifle build obviously. Now, I recently made a rifle one-shot build like a few months ago with the Tinkerer mask that was doing like 26 million, which is a pretty good build and way more flexibility over there because, you know, you can change the talent to whatever you want on your weapon. So if you want, you can still make that, but this one does really high damage. Now, since there is a global event going on, I have to say this, if you really want to clear a legendary mission by yourself for the first time ever, this is the right time. Use this build, take it to a legendary mission, like start with District Arena Arena, and you will see that you're gonna clear that mission without any issue with this build. You'll even one-shot the boss, yes. But even without the global event, the build is really high damage, and I'll show you how you can do that as well. So without any further ado, let me show you the build by starting with the weapons first. Now, as for the weapons, obviously it's going to be the 1886 rifle because there is no other rifle that does more damage than this. Because of its higher damage, it allows you to do that one shot, like headshot or body shot in this case. So that's the reason why. Now, I have both of my 1886 here. There's a reason why, because one of them has headshot damage here and the other one damage to target out of cover. I just wanted to see which one will do more damage. I already have the answer, which I will show you, but I had to spend a lot of resources to actually kind of get that answer because my 1886 with the headshot damage already had 25% of weapon damage expertise for a very long time because this is my go-to build. I use this all the time because it's just easy, you know, to clear the content as quickly. But recently I got this from the vendors because the vendors were selling this with damage to target out of cover, and I had to spend a lot of resources to get that because I wanted to make a fair comparison to obviously see which one does the most damage. And obviously the 1886 with the damage to target out of cover actually wins. Not by a much though. This is the one that hits 32,200,000 and something damage, whereas the one with the headshot damage is like 31,900,000 and something damage. So there's not a huge difference there. But yeah, definitely the 1886 with the damage to target out of cover one wins. So if you bought this one from the vendor when it was on sale, and like in the past few weeks, it was on sale for like 2 to 3 times, I believe. So if you bought it that time with the damage to target out of cover on it already, then congratulations, you already have the better version of the 1886 there. Now, as for the talent, obviously I'm using the determined talent here. Now, here's the thing about determined talent. It is better than the perfect version. So never use the perfect determined. It's garbage. Now, a lot of people says that they cannot keep this talent active even though their headhunter talent is active. That's probably because you may have swapped your weapon. If you swap your weapon accidentally or intentionally, whatever it is, your headhunter's talent stays active, but determined goes away. Even though it never says over here that if you swap, you lose the buff, but it does. Now, even if I swap between these two rifles which basically had the same talent, like determined, I will still lose the buff. It doesn't carry over. So keep that in mind. If you swap it, you have swapped back, you have to get a headshot kill to reactivate the talent, even if you have headhunter active. So the best approach is to never swap your weapon, because as long as you get a one headshot kill, you will have this talent active forever and you never have to shoot on a headshot. You can just do body shots. It'll stay active with you forever. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, as for the build, well, this is the build over here. As you can see, I know it looks a bit weird because there's a lot of mix and match happening with all the gears. It's because I'm not relying on headshot damage only. I have a lot of rifle damage on the build as well as amplified damage. And together, all of these damage combined is allowing us to hit that 30 million plus damage number that is. Now, I'm using gunner specialization is because I like that armor on kill that it gives you, like 10%. And that's the only survivability we have on the build because I feel like we don't need it because we're one-shotting everything. So, you know, that 10% kind of stack up really nicely, and I didn't want it to add any gear that gives us some sort of a healing or some sort of armor and kill, to just lose the damage and get survivability, because I've done that in the past. Okay, I've done that. There's plenty of builds I've made it. It's already on my channel. If you want, you can check them out. It gives you crazy amount of armor and kill, bonus armor, you know, whether it's bloodsucker talent. I have those builds on the channel. If you want, you can check them out, like I said. But in this case, I just wanted to make really high damage, so that's why I'm focusing on that. Now, if you want more damage, you can use sharpshooter specialization. That will increase your damage, but even I won't recommend that. Like, gunner is fine. Gunner gives you healing. That 10% armor and kill, that is enough. That is nice. So I'm gonna stay with gunner here, okay? So let's just start with the mask here first. So I am using breaking point gear set, 2 pieces of them. One of them is the mask. It gives us 25% of rifle damage. and I have weapon damage, headshot damage, and headshot damage mod on the mask. Now, the second piece of breaking point is my holster. So I have weapon damage and headshot damage on it. And now I do have two pieces of zoo sets here as well. One of them is the chest piece because it gives you, magazine size, which is nice. Plus also gives you rifle damage 20%. I have weapon damage, headshot damage, weapon handling, headshot damage mod, and headhunter talent. Yeah, trying to get a chest piece like this, it's gonna take a while. Trust me. I've searched in Countdown for hours and then I finally managed to get it because it's worth it because it is more damage than something like Chain Killer, which most people usually going to use like Chain Killer, but yeah, this is way better because of the stats that it gives you, and obviously the set itself gives you that rifle damage, that is. And now perfect headhunter and headhunter has literally no difference in terms of damage, so don't worry about that. It's just perfect headhunter activates a little bit quickly, but in this case, like in this build, it doesn't matter because we have so much damage. Now, as for the backpack, obviously that's the second piece of my zoo set here. Even I can't find a perfect backpack there. Like I was farming this for hours in Countdown, and this is what I have right now. I have a good chest piece, but I'm happy with this backpack here for now. So I would want something like weapon handling here. But we have weapon damage, headshot damage mod, and the vigilance talent. Now, vigilance talent is kind of touch and go. I was using a shield to protect myself so I don't lose the buff, but I was still getting shot somehow, even though I was using a shield, and I was losing the buff. So it was kind of annoying there. So I would recommend something like composure talent. You lose 10% damage compared to vigilance, but at least it will stay active basically forever as long as you're in cover. Now, if you want the same damage as vigilance, unstoppable force will be the perfect alternative, but you need to get 5 kills, and you also need to keep getting kills within 15 seconds because after 15 seconds you lose the buff. So there's that. You can use bloodsucker for bonus armor, but honestly I wouldn't recommend dropping the damage talent, that is. You can also use companion. You can also use something like opportunistic. So yeah, you can use that. You can use concussion. You can use all of these talents. See which one's good for you. You can swap the talent to whatever you want. If you get a backpack like that where you can swap the talent, that is. Unfortunately, I don't, so I'm stuck with vigilance here. Now, as for the Kneepads, well, obviously it's going to be Fox's Prayer because it is a rifle build. We do get rifle damage here, 10%, damage to target out of cover, which is damage to target out of cover. So it's hard to beat this one, honestly. And we have headshot damage here as well. Now, I know there are some people will ask about the turmoil. Just don't. You won't see a 30 million split. You'll see a 15 million split because it reduces your damage by half. So please don't. Now, as for the gloves, obviously it's the Overdogs gloves, which gives us 30% of amplified damage. Now, normally on a crit build, I say don't think about it too much, but in a one-shot build, I will say, yes, you need to think about it a little bit. In this case, your damage numbers are not always going to be like 32 million. It's going to be your damage the build does, which is like, in this case, 25 million, then 32 million, 25 million, 32 million, 25 million, 32 million. That's how it's going to go. You just have to make sure that when you're targeting the boss, it is higher damage number. And how you can make sure of that? Well, when you hit someone, you see the damage number pop out, right? So if the damage number popped out to be less than 30 million, then just hit the boss on the next shot. It's going to be higher. That's basically what I do. That's the only thing you have to keep in mind. Again, don't get confused by the tiers. Now, if I show you my stats here, there's not much to show in terms of the stats apart from headshot damage, I guess. As long as your headshot damage is higher than 150%, that's all it matters because, Headhunter wants you to have more than 150% of headshot damage. We have 175, which is good enough. It's just we have way too much weapon damage and like rifle damage, and that's why we hit so hard. So that's basically for the build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.